Okay, so I would argue that I actually have the worst lot in terms of everyone being in a food coma, but really great to be here and presenting with you guys today to talk to you a little bit more about what SAP is doing in terms of our renewals and best practices and things like that. So I'll take you on a little bit of our journey. But I wanted to reflect back this morning, the very first conversation where we were talking about balance. And I was thinking about how do I create balance in my life. I have a sophomore age teenage son in high school. And there's one kitchen appliance that creates balance for me. What do you guys think that is? Nope. No, I like that. A crock pot. This is what makes me feel like the best mom in the world when I clearly am not. I get off a plane from that day being wherever I am and there's a warm meal and everyone thinks, whatever I put into it also always tastes really great. I could never actually make it without the crock pot. So I just want to share that because that is how I keep my balance. So on to the good stuff. Okay. So at SAP, I want to talk a little bit about a different approach with the same outcome. So a couple years ago, the story that I'll tell you about how we started thinking a little bit differently about how we handle our customers was that I got an angry sort of email or phone call from a customer, and I'm reading through it, and I haven't yet got to the who it's from. But who it was from was a customer that you should most certainly be handling a little differently. We had, at that time, segmented our customers just by how much money they were spending with us each year. And 8 times out of 10, that might have been the right approach. They might have ended up in the right place. But with this particular customer, they weren't spending a whole lot of money with us, so they were down in the more of the low or digital kind of framework. They didn't have any one-on-one assigned resources, and they should have. So that created some conversations with us about should this person have been there. And this is the kind of customer that really, quite frankly, I should have slept with under my pillow at night and woke up in the morning and been like, do you need any coffee? I love you. Do you feel great? Really like high white glove type of treatment. And what we ended up doing at that point was we started asking ourselves the question of how we look at our customers, and we started thinking about potential versus just money. Now, money certainly comes into it, and the model that we've put up here is not every piece of the pie, but we classify our customers by feature, nurture, protect, and digital. And then we handle them a little bit differently in each segment. Our feature customers are our white glove kind of one-on-one customer engagement resource. This is where that angry customer should have been sitting, even though they didn't spend that much money with me. They're the customer that tells all the customers in the industry how well you're doing as a company, so they should have been there. And nurture is all about the white space, the customer that may not spend as much, but has the ability to spend more and more if we actually handle them in a way where we cultivate growth. Then there's protect, which is our customers that, in fact, could have our entire suite. They've bought the whole gamut. We need to continue to protect them and just keep them as a happy customer. And finally, digital, which may be on the lower end of the spend spectrum, but we're handling them in more of a tech touch type of way. So with that being said, there's a lot of autonomy across cloud renewals at SAP where you have some say, we have a review every year of where should each customer fit. So it's not really black and white. We might have these they spend this much, or they do this, or there's this huge white space here, but it's really down to the regional vice president, leader, or anything to say, no, I think that customer needs to be here because they're actually an industry analyst, or whatever that may be. So this really changed the way in which we're talking to our customers. And in the digital realm, we also started looking and thinking, why make assumptions about how we're treating our customers? Because when we sat down and when I had a couple different lunch meetings with our smaller customers, we made assumptions on how they wanted us to interact with them. We thought they all want like an assigned person to talk to, running reviews and all of that. That was an assumption on our part. And no, what they said was, actually, no, Whitney, I wear a lot of hats in my company. I don't actually have time to talk to you all the time. Instead, I just want you to be there when I pick up the phone and call you. I just want someone on that line. Doesn't have to be the same person. I just want to be able to talk to you. And in the world of SAP, that could be, pretty hard for them to find the right person, or they go to sales, or as the organization grows, they can't find it. And so that really changed our thought process too, and they just want to be able to talk to us at the right time when they want to talk to us, even if that's only one time during that year. So that's a little bit of our approach. The second is really near and dear to my heart, and I'll tell you a little bit what I do at SAP is I run everything for cloud renewals on renewal execution. So we believe in keeping our engagement engine focused on engagement and keeping our execution engine focused on execution. And I'll talk a little bit more about the roles that we have that does that. But I'm a big proponent of this, and each of you out here may have teams that have customer success managers or that do the renewal, or you might have a separate renewals team. And what we found at SAP as we scaled that we really needed to look at how much time we were spending on renewal execution activities for when we should have been spending it on the front end during onboarding, implementation, and so forth. And in a way, making that renewal a non-event, right? So making it easier for my team, which isn't always easy, but we started really looking at that. So we came up with different roles within SAP that speak to that. The first one is the customer engagement executive. This is a hefty slide. Don't expect you to read all of it, but our customer engagement executive is really the trusted advisor to the customer. They are not seen as the person that's going to come in and negotiate with them, but they are there to identify growth opportunities with the customer and tie value to the end game. And there is never a worry about what are you going to sell me. They're really sold as the trusted advisor. So they do the onboarding, implementation help, and all of that. And at some point, they then come to my team and say, right, take your best-in-class team and go negotiate. And that's what I did. I built an organization of people over the past 8 years at SAP that come from a sales background because they know how to negotiate. But we've really refined the art of understanding the conditions for success, as we've talked a lot about today, how we can drive that renewal negotiation. And that role we call the customer retention executive. They come in 90 to 120 days before renewal. They are very well skilled in commercial negotiations. They're very well skilled in learning to work with or understanding how to work with customers. They partner directly with sales and the CEE, or customer engagement executive. So the customer engagement executive doesn't just hand it off and leave, right? They kind of go through the process with us, but my CRE is working directly with procurement. My CRE is saying, no, I want 5 years with your 3% versus 3 years with your 2% or whatever it is. And they become sort of that money person, per se. And they're also taking all of that activity around renewal execution off of the CE. So that CE is staying focused on their onboarding and implementation pieces, engagement, adoption with all of their other customers. And the CRE is staying in that renewal window of execution and cranking the wheels with all the systems, building the quotes, working with pricing, legal, all of these different things that you have to do across many different customers. And then finally, we have a CRS, which is really transactional support. So some of you may find in your organization that as you're growing, what happened to us was we figured out we needed to add certain roles to continue to turn the CE's face to the customer. So the CRS is totally transactional in terms of working inter-organizationally on the systems. They take the work of anything that's non-customer facing off of our CEs and CREs. So they're just doing more of the tactical things, and they're also making sure that, and this is important, they're making sure that all of our customers that auto-renew are actually invoiced and booked and things of that nature. So they kind of have broad oversight as well on all the things that should be automatically happening. So what we've built is this 3-tier approach to continue to keep our customers at the forefront. The CRS helps the CRE helps the CE, and the customer feels that at that level. So this is how it kind of all works together. So you have your customer, you have your CE, and then it breaks it down by classification. So at SAP, all of our feature and nurture accounts have CEs assigned, and all of our protect and digital accounts have CREs assigned. So the CREs are a slightly scaled back model. They don't have quarterly business reviews. They do slightly different activities, but they're still there as a point of contact for the customer. And then we have the CRS. And what we've done in the past year at SAP is created the Cloud Renewal Center. So as you grow with SAP, we've acquired cloud company after cloud company after cloud company who all, and someone spoke to this earlier about acquisitions, who all had their own idea about how to do renewals and how to do it the right way. So we created a set of best practices on kind of how to do it, and we created the Cloud Renewal Center, which is my space at SAP. So every line of business comes into the Cloud Renewal Center and we say, let us do your renewals for you. We have a history of 99% execution. We have a history of 8 to 13% forecast improvement percentage. Once you hand it to our team, we'll get it done for you. So we kind of have to sell it to them, make them feel nice and comfortable that we're going to do their renewals and in concert with them, but we run it all through a center. So as you scale, the customer experience should be the same, and this is how we do it, all through the Cloud Renewal Center. And to talk a little bit about that, I believe in not mottos, but movements. So my shirt that I have on today is the Quest for Zero in the Cloud Renewal Center. This is kind of what the whole team gets behind. So really, zero open, zero lost, zero churn. So in SAP, each quarter, each year, we're talking about, well, you have 2,000 renewals. How many do you have left open? How many are lost? How much have churn? So in the Cloud Renewal Center, we've created a world-class organization deployed from the middle, which helps them operate on reducing churn, reducing losses, and reducing slippage. At SAP, when a deal slips, it's considered a loss. So for us, we use the harshest measurement in terms of our renewal rate. We factor in bad debt and concessions, slippage, and concessions to get a real view of the health of the business. And then, of course, we look at our revenue retention rate, which paints a much prettier picture to the outside world, but I want to know the bare bones of what we're working with. So we operate on the Quest for Zero mantra. My team dies through and through for this. And because we've talked a little bit today about your employees, I think it's really important for you to get your team behind something. Well, we've been operating off this for a couple years now, and seems to be catching on. Finally, and you guys will think that I'm losing it, and I am operating off 4 hours of sleep, but I promised I'd be pretty quick today, so in closing, I want to talk a little bit about this concept of retention equals retention. I joined SAP by way of acquisition of Plateau by SuccessFactors by SAP about 8 years ago, and I still have the same people on my team today that started with me 8 years ago. Some of them were as individual contributors who moved to directors, to VP, to global VPs, but they're still in the team working with my customers, our customers rather, and they're still doing the job that they were doing. I believe that if you can retain your employees, you will retain your customers. The passion that they have for their job and their customers organically exudes to these customers. Our most recent customer success event in Vegas not even a month ago, our customers were like, it's amazing, I'm seeing some of the same faces, even if in a slightly different role, but we feel like you're there and you care and you're coming in to help us no matter what. So this is just a little picture of the team, the Quest for Zero team, as you can tell. We believe in including your family, your pets, the whole movement, and this is just part of the North America team, but again, I believe in bringing everyone together for the cause. And at the end of the day, we have roughly 5,000 renewals a year coming through the Cloud Renewal Center at this point, and we'll be growing. I think in Q3, we executed 4,998. And the 2 that slipped, I would like to say were for conditions beyond our control. But this is completely because of them believing in the mission and the movement. I believe if you invest in your people, it will automatically result in retention for your customers. So that's it. Very quick, very easy.